Representative gentleman?
Oh, hell yes. Here's the Fifth Circuit saying that it's unconstitutional.
Right away, something unusual is happening in this courtroom. Lawyers are already arguing about whether the law itself might be unconstitutional. That's a huge deal. When courts question the constitutionality of a law, it can mean the entire charge against someone might collapse before the case even begins.
Good morning, sir. Sir, you're charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent.
So here's the situation. The defendant is only 17 years old, and the charge is based on carrying a firearm while under the legal age. But things get complicated fast. According to the police report, he pulled the gun because someone was rushing his brothers with a knife. That raises a major legal concept called defense of others, which can sometimes justify the use of force.
Anything you say can and will be used against you. Shh. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On February 5th, 2025, the officer responded to a suspicious person with a weapon on 5900 Gulf Freeway. The officer made contact with the defendant, who was 17 years old. The defendant advised he was inside Jack in the Box while brothers were selling waters outside. The defendant saw a male rushing at his brothers with a knife, pulled out his gun, and pointed it at the male while telling his brothers to run. The officer performed a search on the defendant, locating a 9mm Glock 19, and the defendant advised he bought the gun from a friend for $150.
Now, the courtroom conversation shifts to something critical. The prosecutor confirms that the charge exists only because the defendant is under 21. But several courts, including the Fifth Circuit, have recently questioned whether those restrictions violate the Constitution. If that law doesn't hold up, the entire case could fall apart.
I mean,
Yes, Judge. In this case, the officer was going off the fact that he performed the search because he indicated there was a firearm. So
he's going to the defense of others.
yes, Judge.
It's another person.
And it's just the way that this is pled is because he's underage. He's below the age of 21. That's the way it's pled, Your Honor.
You hear this?
Hold on. I'm going to go yell at somebody. Hold on. Hi, Judge. Is this young man charged with unlawful carrying of possession for being under 21?
Correct.
Hold on. I've got a kit. Here's the GPS
But I'm
memo.
more concerned about the defense of others. Did you hear it? I mean,
No, hold on.
hold on a second.
Here's
Wait a minute.
GPS.
Let me give you a lawyer, Mr.
Yeah. Oh, I volunteer. I volunteer representation. Yeah.
Give me a record, can you fill that out, please?
I will do that. But here's a GPS memo saying that it's
on a second.
unconstitutional.
Representative gentleman?
Oh, hell yes. Here's the Fifth Circuit saying that it's unconstitutional. Here is the United States District Court, Northern District, saying it's unconstitutional. Here's a motion to quash information. I'll just cross out the name.
This is the moment where courtroom reality meets constitutional law. The defense starts stacking legal authorities, federal court rulings, circuit court opinions, even official memos. And when judges see multiple courts saying the same law may be unconstitutional, prosecutors suddenly have a very difficult case to defend.
Great job.
Yeah, I had to get in this fight yesterday, and I'm teed up.
Here you go, Mr. Tito.
Thank you.
Judge.
I was
is
gonna,
there PC?
yeah, look, you gotta be very careful. God forbid something happens where you really dig yourself a hole. I'm gonna find no probable cause, but really, you have to be very careful.
Even though the charge is about to collapse, the judge takes a moment to deliver something important, a life lesson. Courts often use moments like this to remind young defendants that avoiding jail today doesn't mean avoiding consequences tomorrow. One wrong decision can easily lead someone back into the system.
Sometimes you make a decision in life and it can really have consequences, all right? You know what that means, right? Are you in school? It all starts with school, man. You got to get back into school. This is not a good way to go through life at 17. The more schooling you have, the more money you're going to make. Knowledge is power, my friend. Do it. Make something. Make me proud. Please. You got it. It's going to get dismissed.
And just like that, the case is essentially over. The judge finds no probable cause, meaning the charge can't move forward. But the bigger story here isn't just the dismissal. It's how constitutional law, self-defense, and a teenager trying to protect his brothers collided in one courtroom moment. So what do you think? Did the judge make the right call by dismissing the case? Or should carrying a gun at 17 always lead to charges, no matter the circumstances?
Be careful, friend.
Yeah. Literally have all that on because I have a case in another court.
I was gonna find no PC anyways. So.